What's up everyone, welcome to our very first video game preview. I thought since there were no big titles coming out this week, I'd take a look at a game I've been wanting to play but isn't quite out yet. So thanks to Steam's early access program, I'll be previewing Don't Starve, a dark open world game with a storybook art style. The game is set to release on April 23rd, but f*** it, I need something to play right now, so let's get in there. In Don't Starve, you play a gentleman scientist named Wilson who has been transported to a weird, nightmarish dimension full of strange creatures. As the game's title implies, one of your first prerogatives is to find something to eat before you die of hunger. This is actually pretty easy to accomplish though, and it's far from the only way you can die. Really, they could have called the game Don't Get Murdered by Things in the Dark, or Don't Piss Off Any Herds of Animals, or Don't Annoy This Eyeball Thing. You're way more likely to die from one of those things than starving. But I guess those titles just weren't as catchy. Anyway, the game's got this really cool pop-up children's book art style going for it that works really well and helps create an otherworldly fairy tale environment. However, the gloomy color palette can make the game depressing to play for long periods of time, but I suppose a bunch of bright, happy colors would spoil the mood of the game. The character animations are hilarious, and watching your little sprite amble across the terrain will definitely bring a smile to your face. His lines range from "Take that, nature," to "I will destroy you." The current version of the game doesn't come with any kind of tutorial, you kind of have to figure out everything as you go along, but it's not that hard. When you eat something or do something, a little red or green ring will appear around your health, sanity, or hunger gauge. You should try to do the things that make a green ring appear and avoid the things that cause a red ring. Some items will affect your hunger positively, but your sanity negatively, such as these green mushrooms, so it's important to remember which items do what. Don't Starve has a pretty complex building system. You start off able to build a few basic items, but you'll need a science machine to develop prototypes of more advanced stuff. It's sort of like your crafting table in Minecraft. Once you have a science machine, you can build weapons, armor, and other items for your character, like this helpful log suit. You can even farm stuff in the game, which is cool I guess, especially since one of your main goals is to, well, not starve. There's a lot of weird things going on in the world. There's this random eye bone you can find that just spawns somewhere in the world, and it summons this walking chest named Chester that just follows you around and holds items for you. I really like Chester. He's useful, but his heavy breathing makes him sound like there's someone stalking me. There's these random pig people that really don't want to fight you, but you can often trick them into fighting more aggressive enemies for you, which is nice. And then of course these weird eyeball things, mentioned them before, they're pretty creepy. The creatures in this game are really imaginative, and it's nice to see a game getting away from your standard orcs and trolls and goblins and going for something weird and different. Seriously, whoever came up with these freakish horse accordion things, what kind of drugs were you doing? And can I get some? Don't Starve also has alternate characters that you can unlock by playing. They all have different abilities, which makes me really feel like a multiplayer mode for this game would be incredibly fun. Everyone picks a different character and works together to survive and build stuff. You'd have to create more enemies and make them tougher, but it would totally be worth it. With the 2D pop-up art style, things can occasionally be hard to pick up, but luckily you can turn the camera and look behind things, so it's not that much of an annoyance. Also, the combat in this game is a bit clunky. Left-clicking attacks, but it also moves, so if you miss an enemy, which could be moving and easy to do, you could walk right into him and not really attack him. I'm not really sure how they would go about fixing this. One thing that might work would be to have an attack ground feature like they do in StarCraft, where your character would attack anything between him and the point you move to. That would actually be super helpful. Also, I'd like to see some kind of health bar on enemies, or anything really that tells you that you're doing damage, so I can actually tell when I'm hurting them, and when I'm not hurting them at all. Even a Pokemon style, "it's not very effective" would be helpful. I tried setting this tree monster on fire forever with no real effect. You'd think that a tree would be vulnerable to fire, you know, with it being made of wood and all. Hopefully this will be a feature in the final game. Now obviously I'm not going to rate a game that isn't even out yet, but I will say that Don't Starve has the potential to be a really great game, and I enjoyed the time I spent playing it. Plus it's only $11.99, so it's got that going for it. If you're a fan of a creepy eyeball monster and open world play, I would definitely suggest checking this one out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.